is the Sawyer Squeeze water filter. If you're a hunter, a fisherman, a backpacker, you know exactly what this water filter is, and it's really good at a lot of things. I mean, I'm a backpacker, so I know how good it works. You just fill up a bottle of water, screw this on the end of it, you squeeze it, and you get safe, clean drinking water. But there is one thing that this water filter is absolutely not good at. But in order for me to be able to show you why this isn't good enough, I had to pull my oldest son out of school to travel all the way to Egypt to hand out water filters to people with no access to clean water. And what I thought was going to be like a similar trip I took on my own to Nairobi, Kenya, where a group of us handed out hundreds of filters. This trip with my 16-year-old son, Caden, was very different because we were only allowed to hand out 4 filters over the course of an hour with police escorted security. That's a lot of missed school with 0 life lessons, or so I thought. This is Egypt.
This isn't backpacking.
No, it's but we're gonna start a camel channel actually. So they carry a little bit more. Anyway, 70 liters E-Packs. We got a runaway. There goes Emmett.
Yeah, see you later, Emmett.
That was an awesome few days hanging out in Cairo with this guy. And now we're heading to the orphanage, and we're hopefully gonna meet some of the leaders there today. We got like a 6-hour drive ahead of us. And then we're gonna start prepping these water filters, handing them out, and teach people finally how to drink clean water. This is Daryl. He's the international director for Sawyer, and he was also with me in Kenya for that entire trip.
In the front seat with us is our security guy that's traveling with us, and he's going to be like doing sort of play-by-play along the way, calling in to the security checkpoints and those kind of things, and just the kind of the Egyptian way of over the top, making sure that the Westerners are completely safe. We're totally safe, but they just go way above and beyond.
Wow. So now we got actual armed security with us. It's crazy. You may remember back in 2011 when Egypt was a very unsafe place because of all the protests.
Unprecedented violence.
Military police is moving in.
This is unlike anything we've seen before.
When it forced out its dictatorial president and caused him to flee the country.
Hosni Mubarak has stepped down.
Back then, Egypt was extremely unsafe. 12 years later, Egypt is a peaceful country and very safe for tourists. This building is so much bigger than I thought it was going to be. This place, this is the orphanage, it's huge. It's got a huge wall going all the way around it. There's a lot of people here. This orphanage has been around for over 100 years. It has been a home and a safe place for thousands and thousands of orphans over the years. Some people are born and raised here and then brought out into the world from this orphanage, and then some of them actually stay here and continue to raise other orphans. It's like a huge college campus. This place is unreal. So we're here in the orphanage, finally gearing up for what we came to do: distribute filters and get people clean water. It was at this point I noticed the biggest difference between this trip and the last one. If you missed the previous video in this series, we were with Sawyer in Kenya and helped people get clean water with the Sawyer Squeeze. But the Sawyer Squeeze has one fatal flaw here in Egypt. There's actual plumbing here. Pipes coming out of walls, hoses, spigots, and the squeeze attaches to a water bottle, not a spigot. So in order to solve this problem, Sawyer actually went back to the drawing board, took their squeeze, and redesigned it completely. Enter the tap water filtration system. It's essentially the exact same filter. The only difference is this one is redesigned to attach exactly to a faucet, a hose, a spigot, a pipe coming out of a wall. It's meant to go in places like Egypt where people have flowing water, where they have access to plumbing, but the water that's coming out of the pipes is totally unclean. The tap filter is held to the same standards as the Sawyer Squeeze. This one will filter up to 500 gallons of water per day, which is more than enough for almost every household. But even a filter that seems so simple to use takes training, and that's exactly what we had to do. So we spent several days training local leaders how to even use this system because it was the first time they had ever seen it.
Right inside here, we're going to start the training. There's 10 different organizations here, all churches represented. Each of them sent a representative from their church to learn how to use these filters, and Daryl's going to train them, and then we're going to go out into the community and start installing them.
First, the pastors had to learn what the filter was. Then they had to learn how to use it. And then they had to learn how to teach others how to use it. So they spent a lot of time practicing on each other.
After probably, 4 hours of training, we are finally on our way to the villages.
So once the pastors had felt comfortable enough on how to use this, and once Daryl was comfortable with how well they were able to teach each other, that's when it was time to actually go out into the community, out to the villages, and begin installing these filters.
Finally getting to our first home.
دلوقتي لو نظفته كويس واستمرت في تنظيفه كل يوم 3 مرات زي ما الجفيف بتاعه ده تمام نعمله كده
كان ضلمه صح ضلمه نفس الايد اللي ماسكه هي اللي بتمسك الاثنين مع بعض.
How long have you lived here?
يطلع لي 16 سنة.
And how long have you been without clean water?
على طول ساعات نشربها مية ونحطها في الكمر بيلقاها معكر من تحت.
And so now you'll have clean water you can drink safely.
ماشي تمام.
First house done.
ديت تطلع منهم ميه فلتر الميه بتخش فيه من هنا الميه بتنزل فيه من الناحيه دي شايف وهكذا لما تيجي تركبيه تاني بكل سهوله مفيش اي حاجه خالص سهل جدا.
That's because of the dirty water.
Yes.
He's had to have several surgeries.
Yes, he did. The problem of the water is have stones on it and have dirt and dust and all that, so he drank it and fit his body. They called it in Arabic, it's called it the stone surgery. They get a stone like this size from his body because the water is so bad.
Wow.
Yeah. So now he's a happy guy because this filter.
That's awesome. Thank you. We're praying for you. All right. You will.
It's really amazing to see all of these people have happier lives because they're going to have clean water now from the filters. And so that means a lot less sick people from the dirty water. So it's really amazing to see that.
Seeing these people, how they live, and hear the stories, it's affect my heart more than I thought I was coming just to translate, but it's affect me so good that I'll be thankful, I'll be praying for them. So I wish that you go back to States and do the same. Tell the stories, show the videos, and pray for those, pray for the kids. They find an opportunity to have a better life.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna tell everyone. Everyone's gonna know.
We had armed security with us the entire time we were there, not because it's unsafe, but because they don't want anything to happen to us and then maybe make the news or something like that. So the Egyptian police only allowed Sawyer 1 hour to distribute the water filters. Now, as frustrated as I really was about this, because I traveled across the entire world with my son, we took 9 days out of our life. I took my son out of school to do this. For an hour handing out filters, I realized how absolutely selfish I was being because we weren't there so that we could be put up on some pedestal and be in people's homes, handing them water filters. We were there and I saw this and I experienced this and I realized this while we were there to train people how to use this filter and so that they could in turn train other people how to use this filter. Because unlike in Kenya, where it was a well-oiled machine, here it was just getting kicked off the ground. We stayed at this orphanage, right? They knew that we were going into their country to give them clean water, to, help people get rid of disease and all of the things that were happening in that country. So they were so excited that we were there helping them. And we're sitting in this training meeting, and we're training these pastors, and Daryl brings over a cup of water that was poured out of one of the spigots from the orphanage.
This is the water that they're drinking here at the orphanage. Straight out of the tap.
And I said to Daryl, like, do these people have clean water? Like, what's going on? And we only spent an hour in this village, right? Handing out water filters to maybe 4 homes total. And we've got all these extra water filters. So we installed them in the orphanage.
Okay.
We went all over the orphanage, installing filters in kitchens and bathrooms and where children were sleeping, and in as many places as we possibly could where they could use that clean water. Now, this didn't cover all of the water sources in the orphanage, but it's still a huge step to giving them complete clean water. What amazed me about the orphanage is how gracious and hospitable they were towards us. They were totally selfless. They didn't even consider their own need of clean water. They were more concerned about the community and training other people. It was truly awesome to see their selflessness to care about others before themselves. Okay, so maybe you've watched this and you're like, I would love to do something. Let me just walk you through how to actually do something that would really make a difference, and it's super, super easy. I'll put a link in the description below where you can give directly to the Sawyer Foundation. The first video that we filmed on Kenya just a few months ago, we raised over $35,000 for the Sawyer Foundation. Now, if you're just like, I want to just maybe contribute by buying a Sawyer product, that's awesome. So here's kind of some math on how that works. Every $10 that you spend on any Sawyer product equals one person in the world somewhere who's gonna get clean water. If you buy a Sawyer squeeze, this is $40. That's 4 people that will have clean water. This, about $40. Another 4 people that will have clean water. Or maybe you're like, I've already got a ton of Sawyer products. I don't need any more Sawyer products. I just wanna help. Then just go ahead and donate by clicking the link in the description below directly to the Sawyer Foundation. Every $10 that you give goes to give one person clean water. So this effort is not even close to over. There are an enormous amount of people around the world that still lack access to clean water. We need all the help we can get, and we need all the water filters purchased we can possibly get. And I just want you to know how much I appreciate, truly, from the bottom of my heart, all of you that have already given and all of you that are going to give, because you're seeing what's happening around the world. So, one more thing, please remember to pray for these people. I believe in God, I believe in prayer, and I believe that prayers make a difference and prayers have power behind them. So please pray for Sawyer, pray for this endeavor, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
كل القلب بجيلك يعني في النعمان ده مفيش تاني مثيلك اللي في ضلك واللي في سترك ده ما يتخافش عليك كبير أو حتى تنوزه بنفسك هتعدي وهتصنع بحياته عجايب وإيدك بتعلي